Hey Insulators, welcome to the Hey Insulators podcast. Today we are in Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, and we are with Bob Bird. He is a well-known insulator in this area. He's very active on social media, and he just retired. So we asked him if he would just share his story about how he got started. He recently went through a business succession with his oldest son. So we're glad to meet with him and talk with him all about this. So Bob, introduce yourself a little bit and tell us how you got started in the insulation.
Well, I sure will, Barry. It's great to be here with you. Thank you and Suzanne for y'all's continued relationship with Bird Family Insulation, your support roles with equipment and training. I mean, you guys never fail to come in and provide so much value to our family, our sons, the folks that work here. I'd been in the ministry vocationally all of my adult life, and then in 98, I decided to bump up my attic insulation with that little free machine at Lowe's. And we were vegans. My wife and I, we've got 4 children, and we were all vegans. And so she didn't want me to use fiberglass. She said, let's try that cellulose. So sure, it's paper, how can that hurt your lungs? And so we did a little cellulose bump up with that free machine, and it made such an impact. And our home was built in 76. It's a ranch, about 1,850 square feet. I went to church and was telling everybody, man, y'all got to go do this. And so another pastor said, can you and you and Abby come over? Abby's my firstborn, and Beau, and how about putting some of that stuff in my attic? We said, sure. So we went and bought, I don't know, 50, 60 bales of cellulose from Lowe's. Back then it was Cocoon, U.S. green fiber Cocoon, and got that little machine, and we went and did that one. And then we didn't do it anymore. And we were continued in the ministry, and finally right after 9/11, so in February of 2002, I left the ministry vocationally and decided to start this business. And so we started Bird Family Insulation. We homeschooled our children. So we would, Abby and Beau and I would go and put flyers out in neighborhoods till about lunchtime. And then they would come back and homeschool all afternoon. And we've always been debt free. So we could just do about 2 bump ups a week, and that paid our bills. And we thought, well, we rock along like this. And then a friend told me about low-income weatherization. I'd never heard of that. So I contacted some of those agencies around Metro Atlanta, and one of them said, well, let's talk about it. And I said, well, if y'all ever fall behind, equipment breaks down or something, and you just need some help, how about calling on us and we'll insulate your attics? Well, a week later, I got 8 jobs from him. 8 jobs. I'd never had 8 jobs, We were just barely making it, And we started doing jobs for this agency. And then he told me he said, will you do my blower door testing? I said, I don't even know what a blower door is. He said, I'll train you. And that agency trained us, sent me all over, BPI certified, everything. We bought the equipment, and this was in 2003, 2004. Everybody's building new houses, and we had the retrofit industry all to ourselves. We had no competition. Back then it was the Yellow Pages, and so I bought a page in the Yellow Pages, and here we went. We took off, and it's just been a great story.
Tell us about your logo.
Well, the logo, those are Canada geese, and I felt good about Canada geese because the high-end backpacking, sleeping bags and down coats, down comforters, what do they put in there? Well, it's goose down. And I always felt good about the metaphor that projected. It's the very best insulation, and it's healthy.
So it's not just that your last name is Bird, although that helps right along with it.
Yeah, it helps.
Obviously. So, yeah, nice story. Now, not too many businesses out there are real successful at going from one generation to another, especially interfamily businesses. So Bob, you're successful in this. Your kids are jumping right in there. We always have a great time visiting you guys when we're out here in the field. Tell us how you prepared for the business succession and kind of give us a little step through as to how you did it and maybe some guidance to other people. It's not always just one clear path, but tell us how you did it and what you considered, and maybe give other contractors an idea as to how they can prepare and they can lead on the next generation, whether it's interfamily or even greater.
Well, I think we may be a little bit unique if you're not homeschooling your kids. And, I always taught our kids that our business was our family farm. And we got all kind of metaphors for that. The first truck we had a name. And I said, come on, we got to go pick corn today, which meant we got to go blow some insulation.
Yeah.
So there's always been a lot of fun with that. My two oldest started the business with me, Abby and Beau. And it's Beau that now is the captain of the ship. Make no mistake about it. I read in a newsletter way back in the 90s, a business newsletter about Hebrew economics, that there's really only 3 paths to job security. I won't go into all of that, but one of those paths is do something that is so miserable, people will gladly pay you to do it for them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all you have to do is mention attic insulation and everybody just starts wrinkling their nose and going, that stuff itches me to death and it's dangerous for your lungs. And I mean, they got all these speed breakers, that I don't want to be around it. I'll gladly pay you to do it for me under the house or in the attic. And so we felt very good that this has a great opportunity as a family business, as long as we wear respirators and we're protected. And so that's how the kids grew up. They all grew up in the business. And I would tell them, okay, we're going on big vacations. We're going to rent the big house on Jekyll Island. We're going to Disney, or we're going to the Colorado Rockies, and all this stuff, because your mama and I aren't putting money aside in a 401k. And I would tell my children, you're our 401k.
Okay.
You're our 401k. And so maybe one or two of y'all would want this business when you're grown and your mom and I are ready to back away from the business, and we'll just always draw our salary. That salary will just into perpetuity, or whatever the word, perpetuity.
Yeah.
And they love that idea. They absolutely love it. And so 3 of the 4 run the business today, Beau, Savannah, and Chris. And we made that transition in January of 2024. I told them a year ago, February of 23, I said, okay, this is our year. I'm now 66. So I was 65, just turned 65. I said, okay, let's go one more year with me in the business, and then it's y'all's.
Right.
And in that final year, my wife and I, Debbie and I, we went camping probably 3 or 4 times, and each time we went, we were gone for 2 weeks. So I just little by little kept backing away.
I'm picking up a couple of things, 3 things here. Number one, your business succession with your family was not something that happened even within the first year. I mean, it was something you planned for a long time, in raising your kids and raising the work ethic.
That's all they've ever done.
And teaching them how to do that. Because that's so important, because the worst thing to do is hand it off to your kids who then, oh, dad made money and we can just kind of rest back on our laurels. And that's the danger, and that's the scary thing about it. And secondly, you had a date in mind. You had a definitive date in mind when you were going to do this. And that's important too, because for you, you've got this plan, you got to cut off by this date, and your kids are excited because they're looking forward to that date. So it's not something it wasn't a carrot you dangled over their heads. And 5 years later, well, Dad.
And the job descriptions really didn't change. Savannah does everything she's always done. She runs our offices. And then, and Beau is our operations manager. He'd always been our operations manager. I had already been pulling away 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
They're very capable. They've been doing this. Well, Christopher was sweeping the trucks and the trailers out when he was 5 years old. Now he's our sales manager. Beau was 10 years old when we blew that pastor's house. I say blew when we bumped up the attic for that pastor that I told you about. He was 10. This is all he's ever known. He became BPI certified at 16.
This is a great story. We're glad to witness it up close.
Well, you're a part of it.
Well, we really enjoy. We really appreciate your business and giving us a chance to show off these cool machines, because we believe they are the best in the market. The support level is out of this world. Dave and Andy are always available. I can call in. Like yesterday, I called, bang, straight to Andy, because he knew I was going through a couple of issues on electrical. We're glad that you've got that product, and we're glad to represent it and to help you guys get on board with it. And I think we had a great job this morning. Your kids were tickled.
Oh, I mean, they're Mexican jumping beans. They're so happy with this new equipment. I'd never bought new equipment. All my stuff, I always bought, secondhand.
Mm-hmm. Same way with my dad. In fact, the newest equipment he bought was a used CM2400 for me, which I still use today.
Those old machines, they're just bulletproof.
Yeah,
they just go and go.
That's another reason. I know that I'm not going to have callbacks. I'm not going to have people disappointed and saying this is not represented correctly. It is what it is. But I'm glad you're in with this, and I know Dave has come down here and visited with you guys on site.
We've met both of them, Dave and Andy.
Great. Yeah, that's right. Bob, it is certainly our pleasure to get to know you guys, and you're avid RVers now.
Oh boy, yeah, I got the hitch bad. We go. We love it.
Perhaps our paths will cross, not in an attic, but on a beach somewhere.
I'm ready for that. Debbie and Suzanne can hit the thrift stores.
There you go. Well, thank you, Bob, for your time.
God bless you, Barry.
Thanks, sir.